Hi, this is Project Boyd.
And this is Antia Boyd.
And today is it's actually our first powerful episode for our new web series, the Brody and Antia Show. The Antia and Brody Show. And today what we're going to do with this show, we have a powerful question from a viewer. And we're going to address her question and do some hot seat coaching right here on the show. You get to be a part of that. So awesome. So let's just start diving right into it. So today we have a powerful question from a viewer, and viewer, if you're there, let's go ahead and dive into it. What is your powerful question related to your dating and your dating right now?
Okay, I've been doing so much work for years, and I want to know, why isn't he here yet?
Great question.
Yeah, and first off, you're not alone with this question. There's lots of signals who have that same question. So that's number one. And oftentimes what we see, there's been a lot of doingness, right? I know that you're really accomplished. You have done pretty much anything and everything that you can do under the sun. And so the balance is really in the beingness. And I'm sure you have heard that before. And one thing that I like to say about the beingness is, how are you actually talking back to yourself after you take a certain action, right? Like, what are you actually telling yourself in your head? How are you actually reflecting back? We call it the meta emotion, right? That's behind your action steps, right? So are you going out and thinking, well, is there like an anxiety around, like, oh, I go out, but what if I miss going out to this event or that event? And so there's like a lack of self-trust. So it's basically, you have to go to everything, right? I'm doing everything and anything, and you don't give yourself a break, because what happens is you actually attract in your balance, in your equilibrium. You don't attract when you just do, right? You attract when you're in a perfect harmony between the doing, but also the leaning back and allowing life to come to you, to literally allowing the man to come to you, right? Because you're in the feminine, so like to create the polarity and to create the man, I know what kind of man you want, to attract that man into your life. He's a masculine man.
Yes, I've been enough for the beta males. That's why I'm doing this work.
Yeah, absolutely. What would you say?
Yeah, so what I'll say about that is, there can be so many different things about why he's not coming. So a lot of things that we've seen with the women that we've worked with is like what Antia said, it's part of the self-trust. And also, we talk a lot about masculine feminine dynamics. And so oftentimes it's just like a magnet. There's we all have it inside of each of us too. We have the masculine energy and we have the feminine energy, and they attract each other. And for us, it's from the inside out as well. So a woman can be dressing very feminine and very attractive, but then in the inside be acting like a man and being the leader and being the controlling one and not being vulnerable and having to make all the decisions and not trusting, not being able to surrender, relax. And that's putting out a masculine energy, which a masculine man, there's no way he can be attracted to that, because it's like two magnets that'll push away from each other when they're the same energies. And then the converse of that is, of course, men can be in their feminine as well, and they can be the follower, and they won't attract a feminine woman. So the key there is to create that polarity, is to really be embracing that feminine energy. Like what Antia said, a lot of it involves the surrender, the surrendering to the process, surrendering to a mentor, surrendering to a new way of being, and owning that feminine part of you that does receive and that trusts and that is vulnerable and is able to be the follow, like in a dance where the masculine is leading, the feminine is following. And that can take, it's simpler, it's easier said than done in a lot of cases. It's about letting go and being able to be receptive. It sometimes takes that having to overcome that fear of, well, what will happen if I let go? What could go wrong? What could blah, 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 the stories that we can tell ourselves, what might happen that can be that block to that. Does that all make sense so far? Anything resonate with any of that we mentioned so far for you?
Absolutely. I've seen that in my parents. My mother was the strong one and my father was the leader.
Totally.
And what you resist persists, and I keep hearing myself say, I don't want a relationship like theirs. And so that's what's in my head. That's what's in my psyche.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. And that's what I meant with, like, how are you talking back to yourself, right? And oftentimes, actually, and one thing I was just saying to a client yesterday was like, what's actually the storyline behind this visible storyline, right? So the visible storyline is you're putting yourself out there, and you might even ask your friends to set you up, and you're taking all those programs. So what's the invisible storyline behind that, right? What are the unconscious beliefs that you approach that with? And one thing that I see is like there's like a slight frustration underneath, where it's like what you said, where is he already, right? And what happens is when we have like this slight frustration underneath, even though on the outside it's like, oh, we're just putting ourselves out there and we're just smiling, right? And everything is great, that it's like a repulsing energy, because it's basically punishing the man subconsciously. Why haven't you come earlier, right? And so men can sense that when a woman has like some frustration underneath. And that was certainly the case for me before I met Brody. I definitely had a frustration like underneath that I was like trying to hide so much, but that was totally coming through, right? So imagine you're the man on the other side. Would you like to be the recipient of that frustration? Like, oh, I can't wait to get together with that woman who's already frustrated at men because they're not coming at the right time. They come, that's like a good thing to think, would you like to be the recipient of that energy, right? And the other piece I also see with women, especially if they're like really accomplished, they've done the work, is that they're like, well, I let go, I release, I let go, right? But then it's actually the next day, they're already checking. It's kind of like going back to, you planted the seed, right? And you check in, okay, is it there yet, right? And then sometimes it's like a bamboo where like first nothing happens, right? But if you just always go back and dig it back out after a day, that's not true letting go. That's like basically still being attached to the outcome. Bernie and I, we always talk about this, right? To commit to the process and detach from the outcome. And so what I see so much is like that women say, I let go and I release and I surrender. But then the next day, they're already upset again. I released, I surrendered, where I see that here. Right? So it's like, no, it's not just like a day, it could be, right? But it could also be because you've been holding on so much, like to really let go, right?
Yeah, and committing to the process is key to that. Yeah, that's the key, is committing to the process, meaning doing the work, working with a mentor, going deep, letting go, looking at all the other subconscious blocks that are there. And then in the moment with a man or with the dating process, letting go of that outcome is super powerful, because it puts you in just the right space where you're taking action, you're taking that inspired action, but without that grasping energy that's like almost a masculine energy of like chasing or trying to hunt down the guy. So awesome. Was that helpful, at least for today?
Yes.
Does that all make sense? Does that all resonate for you?
Yes, one word came to my mind, and it was consistency.
Consistency. Yes, that's key. Yeah. Consistency is key.
Yeah.
Going down the road, looking at the end result, and I'm thinking, okay, why isn't he here? So like I'm veering off, and then I'm like, well, maybe this will work, and then I'm veering off instead of just letting go, like you said, and just being consistent with the expectation and knowing that I'm doing the right thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's where it's really so important to have somebody guide you along the path, to know like when to lean in and when to let go. Because what I see happen so much is like if you're left to your own devices, you go back to your subconscious and you lean in. I just had this with another client where I had to redirect her this morning, and where she had like let go in the wrong moment, where it was actually time to lean in and to communicate, right? And actually lean out in the wrong moment too. So it's like all about like readjusting, like an airplane, 80% of the time is off course. And the only reason why it still gets to the right airport is because it gets back on track really quick. So it's not so much like beating yourself up, oh my God, I got off track, but it's like, how fast can you get back on track? That's the name of the game, right?
Yeah.
It's how fast can you get back on?
Yeah.
In the saddle.
So awesome. Well, it was great having you on the show today. We give you much love for your question. Hope that was helpful. And great questions, and we love going deep with that. So awesome. So thanks for that. And great to have you on the show. And for those watching, if you would like to get your questions answered, you'd like to go deeper, right now you can go to our website, meettheboyds.com, MEETTHEBOYDS. and get more information there. We're currently offering also a complimentary call. You can get on the phone with us and go deep and explore what the blocks are for you, the next strategies that we might recommend, the goals going forward, and really take your dating and your romantic life to the next level. Do you have any other final words on that for today?
Well, like really never give up and stick to your standards.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, we wish you much love. Look forward to talking more on our next great call, our next great episode, and we'll talk to you again very soon. Much love.
Take care.
Bye-bye.